computer issues here. So just if you, I don't know, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
everything's frozen on my end, so I can't mute and I can't go into a room. So you guys do your thing and let me see if I can figure it out.
Okay. And we just made Morgan the host, so she now has hosting duties. What I want to do is go around real briefly, and we're not doing the accountability. I threatened with you this on Tuesday. Accountability day is tomorrow. Tomorrow's accountability. So you still have 24 hours to get your act together, do what you said you're going to do, finish what you said you're going to finish, make happen what you're going to make happen. Nobody panic. You still have time for that tomorrow. And wins and celebrations. I just reposted in the group a few minutes ago. Wins and celebrations of any size, any scope, any magnitude. It does not have to be a huge, big sale, although, of course, we always love to hear about huge, big sales. It could be a clarity breakthrough. It could be a decision that you've made. It could be finishing your accountability item a little bit early, like maybe you're done. It could be anything that you want to celebrate on your journey towards getting your next client, your next check in the door, your next breakthrough level in your business. And again, this could be small or medium or large or super size or any scale in between. So if you have a celebration, either raise your hand or pop it in the chat box, and we'll just kind of go down the list, and then we'll break out into our breakout rooms. And I will be here with a small handful of people because I know everyone wants to talk to Allison for your copy. Everyone wants to talk to Teresa for the mindset and the sales coaching. And I'm just going to be here with Morgan like last time, just like, sipping a cocktail out of my thematically correct bottle. That's all I'm going to do. So Robin says she has a celebration. We are ready. Hit it.
I do. It's a small one, but it was very meaningful. With some good advice from Teresa, I sent out a quick message on Facebook mom groups and asked them, what advice do you wish you had when you returned from maternity leave? And what were your major issues? And I've gotten about 40 responses in the last 24 hours. And a couple of them just, wow, that women are worried that their babies aren't going to love them, that their babies are not going to bond with them. And I feel it emotionally, but I love it because I know research to reassure them. And so that's my shtick, that everything is evidence-based, but I know now that I have this information to share with them that's going to make them feel better, it's going to reassure them, and it's for real. It's not just something, well, my baby was fine. It's based on studies and all of that. And then they also, a lot of them mentioned they felt so guilty about stopping breastfeeding. And they're like, I wish I had known formula was okay. And so this just fits so well into my message. So it's making the creation of the webinars for moms returning from maternity leave much clearer, feel purposeful. It's got me excited.
I will tell you, not only is all of that research and all of the substance of that amazing, just the fact that you got 40 responses in 24 hours, that is a data point unto itself. That you need to be super happy and super pleased that totally struck a major, major chord.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I posted on LinkedIn. I've only gotten a few responses on LinkedIn in a couple of mothers, working women's groups I belong to there. But the few Facebook mom groups, wow, it just exploded in all three.
Well, and the other lesson here for everyone, based on what Robin is sharing, is you got to fish where the fish are. And sometimes it's really trial and error. Right? You go to some forums, you go to some blogs, you go to some online portals and online communities, you go to Facebook, you go to LinkedIn, you go to wherever. When you're picking up a huge response from one and not a lot of action over here, now you know where to focus your research and your outreach and some of your initial asking for air conversations. So even that's another celebration, I think, is that you've also put some feelers out and figured out where's my tribe gathering to discuss these problems.
And two people, one said, I run a site for mom entrepreneurs. Feel free to post this question on there. She accepted me into that closed group. And then somebody else is a diversity officer and said, feel free to direct message me if you want to talk more about what companies can do.
Love it. Oh my gosh. Totally fantastic.
That
really
is a
great.
huge win.
Really great.
I think the other piece to this too, guys, for all the rest of you, I think we come into this and we hit module 1 and we say, you know, I've got to have this marketing language workbook filled out. And it's like editing a blank page. So doing this research, doing some questioning, listening campaigns, just doing Google searches to get your mind rolling and get some word fodder and some sound bites and some nuances. That research piece before you decide that you need to have all the answers is really, really critical. And that's really what Robin just did. We're talking about how do we get some data? How do we get some ideas of what's going on in the marketplace? And that was a perfect way to do it. So well done, way to execute, Robin. Super excited for you. Awesome.
Very nice. And I think Patricia has one, which initially was a yay, but I think it might be a yes.
It's yes and yay. And
yes
I was
and
mentioning
yay. Go ahead.
I was mentioning this before you popped on, David. So just for the record, just wanted to share that again with Teresa's amazing invitation to look at all the modules in total. I'm now up to module 5, and there has been such a release and a relief of that, as you said, David, don't get depressed. Well, in 1 and 2, and by the time I got finished with 2, I was in the quicksand. So I've popped up, I've popped out, and that to me feels like a major, major, major win. I'm so happy, I'm grateful, and now ready to feel very creative to get into the work. So thrilled to be here with you today. Thanks for allowing me to share the win and celebrating with me, and appreciate you both so much. Thanks.
Well, I love it. That is really great, Patricia. Thank you. Let's go to Susan Scanlon.
Yes, I got my copy back from Allison on my 7 reasons to hire Susan and my one sheet, and I am just so excited because it looks awesome. And she really got the right lingo. So we meet this afternoon, and while I was waiting for that, I started my competitive scan, and I'm really kind of fired up because there's not many people doing what I'm doing in the financial cognitive area. So it's just fueling me up to really get moving now that I have these documents. I know exactly who I want to target, and I have people waiting already. I went to a networking luncheon last week before I left town for another speaking event. Mm-hmm. And the woman I sat next to gave me the names of like 8 people that she thought would be interested. So I've already got, a hit list basically. So I can't wait to get things on graphic paper and just spread the word.
Very nice. And again, just even the fact that, just like we talked about with Robin, when you get that kind of response, I've got 8 people you need to talk to. When you know that you've struck a chord, you know that it's like, oh my God, give me your card. Oh my gosh, we have to talk, right? Anything like that, when you do the work in here and you dial in that messaging and you're crystal clear on what you're doing and how you fit into your prospects world, and you've done your homework and you know your prospects better than they know themselves, that's when you're going to unlock the floodgates like you're describing.
Mm-hmm. And I wasn't going to go, but I remembered you saying nothing happens outside of a conversation.
Yes.
So I went out in the snowstorm and went for it anyway. So
I love it. And so that's a big bumper sticker and a big wall poster that we all need to have up in our offices. Nothing good happens outside of a conversation. Mm-hmm. Absolutely right. Let's go to Neil.
There, now I'm unmuted. Speaking of conversations, I've got, this is what you've done to me, and it relates directly to the fee. I have about 8 more gigs that are booked under the old Neil and under the old fee. So one of them called at the beginning of this week, and just to review the agenda of what we're going to be talking about with their sales team. And sales isn't what I'm doing anymore. Conflict management is what I'm doing, although there is room for that in the sales process. And she talked about the fee, and I had sent her an invoice, and she said, is there any way we can reduce the fee? And just so you know, that fee's $1,500. And I said, no, actually the new Neil charges $7,500. You're getting the deal because you booked me early. So you're getting the Neil deal. And that's where it stops. That led to a conversation about where I'm going and what I do. And this morning from her corporation, I got an email from their vice president of conflict and crisis management. They have a department of crisis management. And he's going to be at the meeting next Wednesday when I come to present my workshop. And we have already established that we're having coffee after that. And he's aware of the $7,500. Huge win.
I'm doing the happy dance right now. I'm just sitting here going, woo!
Yeah. I've been dancing a jig ever since. So now I just have to get my act together to make sure. I mean, I'll have the conversation with him. I need to get the marketing material to follow up with it and all of that stuff. And Teresa helped me a bit with that, and Allison's going to drive it home today, I'm sure. And then we'll go from there.
So, Neil, that is fantastic. And this is one of the biggest mindset hacks and mindset challenges, and we've crossed it time and time and time again. And until you hear a story like this, and I hope you're all kind of going to re-listen and replay and rewatch this part of our celebrations from today. People that came into this program, I have a client, they brought me in for $750. There's no way I can go back at, pick a number, $5,500, $6,500, right? Neil says, I had a $1,500 gig. There's no way. It's a 5 times increase, guys. 500% increase. 5 times 1,500 is 7,500 for you math majors, right? There's no way that same client or anyone in that company would ever think of Neil as anything more than the $1,500 guy. And that is 100% true until Neil thinks differently about himself and about his value. And the good clients will always upgrade. The good clients will always move upstream with you. Doesn't matter how long you've been, how low and how crazy and backwards and upside down your pricing has been. When you flip the switch in here, right, not 100% of them will follow you, but more will follow you than you think. And then every new prospect, it's just like 7,500, boom, easy, done. It's like the Post-it notes, right? Salt, pepper, 4,500. Salt, pepper, 9,500. Salt, pepper, 7,500. This is 7,500. This is the salt. This is the pepper on your kitchen counter, on your kitchen table. So because Neil bought into it, now the VP of Conflict and Crisis Management is going to buy into it as well. So just huge high five, huge congratulations.
Ooh.
That I would say is probably the number one hardest barrier in this program, that going back to a client who paid me X is never going to pay me 4X or 5X or 6X. And we've seen it time and time and time again. The answer is hell no, you're wrong. They will. They will and they want to, because the value follows the fee. And when you're 3X and 4X and 5Xing the price, like, wow, this guy really upped his game. We need to pay attention. This isn't the little pisher that we brought in a couple years ago. This guy's gotten serious. And they're waiting for you to get serious, and they're waiting for you to charge those premium fees.
The voice in my head kept saying, I'm married to my fee. If you
Yeah,
want me, I'm
there you
married
go.
to my fee. And I just stuck with it. My heart was racing because you're waiting for that, who the hell do you think you are? And she didn't skip a beat, and she says, wow, I'm really getting a deal. And then she went out and helped me get a bigger one. So, well, hopefully a bigger one, but that's my job to close.
It's going to happen. It's already happened. We're celebrating in advance. This thing has already happened. Absolutely. No question in my mind.
Great job, Neil.
Thank you.
Really, really good. So Kip has 2 small ones, 2 8 ounces, not a 16 ounce, but 2 8 ounces. Go ahead.
We had this problem with no sound, Kip.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there we go.
There you
You're
go.
on now.
You there?
Yep, you can.
Okay.
We hear you.
Was finally able to make some changes to my LinkedIn profile based on the things we had talked about. I got them in place yesterday.
Great.
Nice conversation with Teresa yesterday, which helped me kind of get the sort of a marketing flow chart in my head. This happens, and if this happens, that goes, and if this doesn't happen, something else, and kind of visualize the flow chart. Now just sort of filling in the blanks on the letters and the subsequent contacts and that sort of thing. So I feel pretty good about the way that's happening mentally for me right now.
Cool. Excellent.
Awesome.
And what's the second one?
Well, that was it. The LinkedIn thing and the sort of
I'm sorry. Right. The LinkedIn thing and the flow chart. Perfect. Very, very good.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you.
And then Charles, I'm going to ignore the first part of that celebration about haven't implemented anything. We're just going to ignore that. I didn't hear that. I didn't see that. It's all good. You're working your ass off. Congratulations. Tell us about these opportunities that are landing out of the blue.
Well, let's see. Had a conversation with a guy who's invested in a lot of different companies, and I guess that started about the first day of being in this program. I did use some of the things that I've learned in the modules in having the conversation with him. He's introduced me to 4 of the companies that he's invested in. They are all kind of excited, and even one of those companies has introduced me to one of his clients that he thinks really needs what I do. So lots of opportunities popping out from that one conversation. The other side of it is the consulting firm in Ireland that I've been doing some work through is interested in having me come work on them. So that wasn't there until I started kind of changing the conversation about my value. Thank you for helping me see it in a new light.
Absolutely. Really, really good. I love that. And I think, even the mindset shifts when you have an inbound call, something comes in. I think what you just said, Charles, is so vitally important. The clarity and the confidence with which you talk about what you do and what problems you solve and what symptoms they might have, and just having that exploratory conversation that is a client-centric or audience-centric sales conversation, and not a me-centric, right? Not a speaker-centric conversation about me, and what I do and my speech and my program and my coaching and my consulting, and no one cares about that. That small shift will make all the difference in every sales conversation going forward.
Yeah, I had fallen into a trap recently of being more about my model, about trying to explain, this is different because step 1, step 2, and nobody cared,
So
they just want to know, do you have a model? Yes, I have a model. Oh, great. Now, what does it do?
Right. Perfect. All right, Jennifer Tournay, what's up?
So first I got my, and sorry, I'm looking at you on that screen, but my camera's there, so I feel a little weird. I got half of my assignment done, and I got a draft, and I got comments back from Teresa, which has helped a whole lot, and I need to revise that. And second, I've had validation on the issues that I'm addressing, both through an article that I recently saw, and then I did an interview yesterday that I was kind of shocked at some of the stuff that came out as far as how they approach and handle staffing, and that leadership and the idea of sharing information is really, really absent. Now, whether or not they see it as an issue that they feel needs to be fixed, I still have to tackle that, but at least I've gotten a little bit more of awareness of some of the things that I've been thinking about. I keep scratching my head saying, really, people don't do this? Yeah, they really don't.
For sure. And that's another great object lesson for everyone, that even though we know it, we teach it, we preach it, it's been our back pocket for years or decades, never undervalue your expertise, because it's obvious to you, and it's no way obvious or clear in any way, shape, or form to your clients and audiences. So Confucius say, fortune cookie wisdom, but it's a true statement. You will always make the most impact and the most money with what comes easily to you and is difficult for others. Now, the problem is, what comes easy to us is the first thing we undervalue. It's the first thing we devalue. It's the first thing we say, well, that's obvious. Well, everyone knows that. That's just the basic, that's like 101. That's like that's like kindergarten level of talent development, leadership, communication, sales culture, whatever all the great things is that we do. That's like baby, like everyone knows that. It's common knowledge. I've read this in 15 different books. Well, guess what? They haven't read any of those books, and they certainly haven't heard it from you in the way that you're going to apply that expertise to help solve their problem. So please keep that in mind, that you will always make the biggest impact and you will always make the most money with what comes easily to you and is difficult for others. And there's a lot of stuff, by the way, that comes easily to you that you forgot how difficult it was before you knew it. After you know it, it's like, yeah, of course, it's, oh, duh, of course, no kidding, right? It's like, just like when, coming in here with Allison and Teresa and me and Sam and, all of us, whatever our different areas of discipline are, there's not a question that we haven't heard and answered 17 different ways. Is this easy for us? Well, frankly, I got bad news. It is, because that's your area of mastery. If it's hard for you, like you're scratching your head going, wow, I have no idea how to tackle that, you probably shouldn't be speaking on it, right? And you probably wouldn't be in love with it and living it and breathing it every single day for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and coffee. But because you are there, you take it for granted. And because you are there, you undervalue it. So huge lesson there for everybody. Let's go to Leonard. What do you got, my friend?
Hey, so in the beginning, when I first started on this program and I picked this right behind me, Carbiz Coach, I knew that my whole issue was going to be finding people that could buy my program, because a lot of you guys don't know, but in the car business, everybody is pitched to all the time. They got people going in and out the door. There's vendors, there's everything under the sun, snake oil to, all the way down to sandals and snake oil. So, and any time at all that someone starts pitching to these guys, they have a tendency to fall away and to say, look, I've already heard it, whatever. So the reason I'm going around this is because in the last week, because I have built up all of this energy towards actually prospecting on LinkedIn, which I freaking love. It has been such a eye-opener to get in contact with these people and see and have them respond back, because again, they get pitched to all the time. But on LinkedIn, when you approach them the way that we've been taught, and you use the scripts and you use what's there, they respond. So in the last couple of days, because I have spent all of my time prospecting and started to see some of these results, I was effing thrilled that it is going well. I mean, it just took a load off of me, because that was the hardest thing in my mind, was to be able to find people to spend money. And I think it's going to be big over this next 30 days. That's exciting to me.
And effing stands for fully, right?
Fully.
I am fully excited. Fully excited.
Completely.
That's fantastic, Leonard. Congratulations. That's really great news.
All right.
And let's go to Fred.
David, when I first enrolled in this program, I was really at a loss to identify what my core was. What was that arrowhead that we talked about the other day? And I really believed that I was all over the map. But what I've been able to do over the last few days is really get on a whiteboard and clarify what my core is, and how everything else I do can feed right into that in a very natural and easy way. It can touch on areas of sales, it can touch on areas of leadership, it can touch on communication, and it also has produced my napkin, my cocktail napkin model. And from that, what I've been able to do with that clarity, I'm able to start backing out that revenue stream that you illustrated the other day. And I've created a revenue model for myself, at least the beginning of a revenue model, where I've broken down all of the possibilities that will stem from this identity of this arrowhead. And it's really quite surprising. I'm also now developing a list of industries of interest that I could serve, to narrow down the, I don't want to boil the ocean.
Right.
And I'm able to do that, and figuring out how to reach them, and how this program would be applicable to them. So that's a big win for me, because I've struggled with it for a long time, and I've really taken ownership of what that core product, for lack of a better, or core talent that I have to offer is. And it's something that I've always believed was there, and I know it was when it worked for me, and I developed it. But like you just said, it's like, oh, nobody needs that. But I realize people do need it. I have it. I can deliver it. And I'm moving forward from here.
Fantastic. And just even the organizing, you know, because we talked about that grocery bag problem, a little bit of everything, and, you know, jack of all trades, having that structure, having that mind map, kind of putting those pieces in the service of, it's not a standalone thing, but it can be applied to, like you said, it can apply to leadership. It can apply to sales. It can be applied in the context of a team or an employee engagement efforts. All of those things, it sharpens the value proposition while being specific enough to a variety of problems. Now listen to that language. Being specific enough to a variety of problems, right? Because nobody buys a generic solution. No one buys, you know, the Swiss Army knife that has 17 blades. They want the steak knife, they want the bread knife, they want the butter knife. And oh, by the way, here's a knife. It's great for bread. It's great for steak. It's great for vegetables. One knife, not 17 knives, not 17 blades, different applications of the same skill set and tool set. So the specificity with the variety, that's what we're having you guys build. If you're coming in with like, oh, I got 17 different topics. No, you don't. Let's figure out what's the umbrella, right? What's the roof of the house? And then the rooms in that house make perfect logical sense, and they support each other. And in fact, they strengthen each other. Now it's no longer a liability. Now it's an asset because you're tackling the same problem from multiple different sources.
Yeah, the analogy that I keep playing over in my head, it's like a suit of clothes. The components, you have a shirt, a tie, a jacket, slacks, socks, shoes, and on their own, they're just laying around. They're just items, but when you put them together, they create a composite. And
exactly right. Exactly right.
So
I love that. Totally spot on.
I'm seeing how that works. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. All right, I think we are ready for our first round of breakouts. Morgan, are you ready to assign and hit the magic button, or Teresa has something first?
Shawn has a win.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sure. Shawn. Where'd she go? There you are.
Liz Metna has a win first. And I'm good.
Oh. Lisette said, love to see the flow chart. Thanks. Sounds like a great piece for all of us.
Well, I can say I have a win in that I
make one up quick.
I don't even have to make it up. I mean, I've done my 8 reasons to hire me so many times that I think I've got a website full of content.
You've got 97 reasons to hire you right now.
I've got so much stuff. I mean, I've populated an entire.
The latest version I saw was pretty close, though. I think you're there.
Well, I'm hopeful.
Yeah, really good work. And again, it's, this is about, and again, when you guys work with Allison, you guys can just get all this in fantastic shape. Build it once, use it forever. People go, yeah, this is a lot of work. Yeah, it is a lot of work. But you do the work once, and then it pays off over and over and over and over and over again. Can I be brutally honest with you guys? I just redid my speaker marketing material from a cosmetic standpoint. The language in that document was written in 2009. It was just redesigned now in 2018 because now it looks a lot slicker and nicer. The language has not changed in 9 years. It hasn't. I'm marketing, the same crap that I marketed 9 years ago because it's evergreen, right? So I don't do anything with digital marketing. I don't, it's not like I was talking about MySpace back in 2009. I talk about evergreen marketing principles, marketing, small business marketing, thought leadership marketing. Those things haven't changed. Has the presentation changed? Well, sure. Has the thinking evolved? Have I gotten smarter in the last 9 years? Sure. The value prop, the articulation, and the distinction in my speaker marketing materials is unchanged for 9 years. Now, I'm not going to tell you how many years it took me to finally get that mofo dialed in. It took me a lot of years to get that mofo dialed in, and I don't want you guys to struggle for years and throw all kinds of spaghetti against the wall. So build it once and literally add 9 years to today. Add 9 years, so it's 28. In 2027, if you do this right and you listen to Allison and you don't mess with Allison's genius, you'll be using the same articulation and distinction in the year 2027 that you're using right now today, unless you decide to completely change direction or change topic or change whatever. So this is not something where it's an ongoing, agonizing process. It's once and done, locked and loaded, do the work once, profit for years. So there you go. There's that rant. Okay. Now I think we're ready for breakout rooms. Unless, Teresa, do you have anything first?
I don't. I'm ready. And I'm on fire this morning, guys. Ready?
We had you preheated up. You were like preheated, like the flames were coming out of the mufflers already.
Vroom. Let's go.
So yeah, Morgan, I think we are ready, and the folks that are assigned to copy are going to copy first, and sales and mindset are going there first, and all the rest of y'all are stuck with me. Now we're going to separate the men from the boys and the women from the girls and the wheat from the chaff and the, I don't know what, the dogs from the cats. Something's being separated. All right. So Morgan says, all invites are sent. If anyone hasn't been added yet and wanted to, let me know. So if you want to spend the next 40 minutes or so either working on your copy, that's with Allison, sales and mindset, that's with Teresa. We're here for another 40 minutes or so. So Morgan, about 10 after the hour, we can do our switch-a-palooza, and then you guys can obviously go to one of the other rooms. You can stay here with me, or the folks that are in one room will get a chance to switch. So either way. And Robin just needs an invitation. Robin, what room did you want to go into?
With Allison.
Okay. So Morgan is going to swoop you away, magically transport you into Allison.
Is there something I'm not getting technologically? Where is it supposed to show up, or?
You should be getting a little notification bar with a blue button, and it depends on, maybe if you minimize the screen, it might be hiding behind your
there it is.
window.
There it is. Okay, got it.
There she goes. Just there's a sound effect when someone gets into a breakout room. It's fantastic. All right, Morgan, thank you. That's awesome. So let's see. Patricia says, my question for David. And so you're here with me now. So
I'm here.
We kind of load balanced you. So you're with me first, and whoever you're going to, you'll go to in 40 minutes.
Yes.
Is around the naming programs, VIP days, pricing. Yes, this is totally appropriate and totally fantastic. So tell me what you're thinking about. In fact, this is kind of a principle that I'd love to, when we reconvene in the large group or in the Facebook group, I think this will be a great thinking exercise for everybody. Anytime that you have a question, whether it's a question in the Facebook group, whether it's a question here for me or for anyone on the team, come with the question, and also come with 1 or 2 or 3 options that you're considering. So we will always do better and make a better decision if you've had a little bit of pre-marination time about, hey, I'm thinking of going direction 1, direction 2, or direction 3. Hey, I've got a couple different pricing models I want to run by you. Here's pricing model A, here's pricing model B. What do you think? If there's a third option or a better option, of course I will give that to you. But just having the discipline of coming up with the question and with a couple of potential answers and potential direction, will get you a better, faster answer. And you'll also have the satisfaction of coming up with a great idea yourself and having that validated. Or if all of your ideas suck, which is rare, but if all of your ideas suck, I will give you the winning idea, and you'll still be better off having thought through the options before asking the question. So, Patricia, what are you thinking of for the naming and the VIP days and the pricing?
Thank you. And I do have that. I just didn't know if this was the appropriate area
totally
to do it. So I didn't want to,
give you perfect for everyone.
I didn't want to write a book and then have it not be valid.
Fair enough.
So up until now, my programs and what I offer, as before you and I even had our first call, my idea was to go speak to events for free, and that's not happening anymore. And then I had 3 offers. One was a 12-week group coaching, and it's what I currently sell for $14.97 that we meet weekly. The other is a VIP day where someone comes and spends a day and a half for $5,000 with me. And then that includes 3 months group coaching. And then the other is 6 months private one-on-one coaching for $7,500. So first I wanted to lay that out because when you and I initially spoke, you said that you wanted to really maybe dive into that and look at the pricing, right?
And now that you're giving me these numbers, I know why I wanted to dive into it, because like it was way too low, way too low.
And David, I think even since we spoke, I've really, now that I'm even sharing this with you, it's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? So you've already had a great impact for me and on me. And
this is the magic of group coaching, also known as group shaming. It's like, I can't say that number out loud. Okay, so let's take that one piece at a time.
Okay, very good.
Your initial thing that you said is $1,497. Is group coaching with you for how long?
12 weeks.
Okay.
I love you.
All right. So let's look at this program as a benchmark, right? So this program is a $12,000 price tag. There's some incentives if people decide to sign up sooner rather than later, and that's all great. And so that could be a $9,000 price tag. That could be a $7,500 price tag. And this is 8 weeks. So the one thing I want you to disconnect in your mind is that they're buying time with you. You know, if I could compress this program that we're in right now together to 4 weeks and charge $15,000, it would be worth more if it was shorter. I want you to really internalize that, guys. This would be worth more if it was shorter. I'm not smart enough to get you guys where you need to go in 4 weeks. I'd love to like wave a magic wand and go, boom, you're healed, and charge you $100,000, right? If I could like just tap you on the forehead and go, boom, you're transformed, give me $100,000 and you'll make $350,000 for the rest of your life every single year of your speaking and coaching and consulting career, you'd easily pay me the $100,000. So separate in your mind duration equals investment, because it's the opposite effect, right? And we talk about this in some of my other coaching when we're talking about high fee programs. There's a mule mindset and there's a magician mindset. The mule, and this is the kind of buyer that you'll run across, and it's also the kind of consultant or speaker or expert that you are, because the kind of buyer that we are is typically the kind of seller that we are. The mule wants the stuff. How many hours with Patricia? How big is the binder? How long are the videos? 5-hour videos are better than 30-minute videos, right? In fact, 7-hour videos are better than 5-hour videos. How many hundreds of hours of video do I get, right? How big is the binder? How long is the session? How long are the calls? Because I at least need a 3.5-hour call. 2-hour call is not going to cut it. I need like a 3.5, 4-hour call every week. Are you kidding me? So here's our job in any of these 3 distribution methods, Patricia, that you're talking about. Whether it's a group coaching thing, whether it's your VIP day, whether it is your 6-month one-on-one program, your job, my job, our job on our team is to shorten the path and accelerate the speed with which our clients get the outcomes that they want. And if you start thinking and really believing and internalizing that with every possible distribution method, every coaching package, every consulting package, every training workshop, every leadership development, sales development, corporate culture, car biz coaching, entrepreneurship program, everything that we do, our job is 2 things and only 2 things to help them solve their problem. Shorten the path, right? Less steps is better than more steps, and accelerate the speed. Faster is better than slower. If I say, I have good news, I'm going to give you a binder that's 380 pages, right? The mule's like, that's great. Are there 20 pages missing? Like, was it a 400-page binder at some point? No, man, so here we go. If I were to print out, and you guys, some people do this, you print out like all the transcripts and all the binders and all the PowerPoints and whatever, you can do that. If I said, listen, here's the program. This program would be worth $15,000 if the stack of paper is this thin. This is a $15,000 program, right? The $3,000 program has the big ass binder and the endless videos, because what am I doing when I'm giving you more? I am extending your path. I'm not shortening it. and I'm slowing you down. I am totally slowing you down. When I say, oh, by the way, you have to watch 97 videos, you have to read 900 pages of transcripts, there's going to be 74 different exercises that you have to fill out, and then maybe someday at some point in the future, you'll get this random outcome if you do all the work. And the reason that people do this, especially in the internet marketing land, which is kind of full of snake oil and craziness, is because they've got a refund policy, and they say, well, you have to show that you did the work, and then we'll give you a refund if you don't like the program. These programs are unfinishable. They're unconsumable. They're undoable. Like when you buy Product Launch Formula from Jeff Walker, just as an example, and Jeff's program is great, nobody can finish that program. No one's going to sit and watch 110 videos. No one's going to print out, a couple thousand pages of PDFs and transcripts and handouts. The program's literally unfinishable. So what has Jeff done? He has extended by quite a lot, extended the horizon where you're going to get the outcome, and he's tremendously slowed you down by giving you all this pack mule nonsense. On the other hand, the magician says, here's the outcome that you want. Here's how I deliver it. If you do the work, if you stay engaged, you will get this outcome so fast your head will spin. Well, how many hours do I get? The less, the better. How big is the stack of PDFs? The smaller, the better, right? So the kind of client that we are, if we're looking for the 400-page PDF, we're going to be stuck in this kind of hellacious cycle of, I got to give them more. My program has to be bigger. It has to be longer. I have to have more handouts. I have to throw more stuff. Your program, starting with your group coaching program, it's really about less is more. And so less is more, and also the higher the value, the higher the fee, the more perceived value they're going to get. Because here's the equation. The equation is they pay more attention. They pay more attention, they implement more. They implement more, they get better results. Their respect for you goes up, the application of your material goes up, their outcomes go up. So by charging more, your program is actually worth more. So here's the mantra for everybody. Everybody needs to write this down somewhere, burn it in your brain cells. I charge more because I'm worth more. And that mantra we get, and you guys are already kind of tuned into that. The flip on that is almost more important. It's I charge more because I'm worth more. And now here's the fun part. I'm worth more because I charge more. I'm worth more because I charge more. So because you're a $7,500 speaker, you're automatically smarter, better, faster, cooler than the $1,500 speaker that you were last year. Because you're at $5,500 instead of $500, you're automatically smarter. Your stuff works. It's more expensive. It's more valuable. It's more effective. It's smarter. It's better. It's cooler. It is more applicable. It's more relevant. It has a halo effect. So your pricing, the reason this is so important for everything, Patricia, and this is, for all of us, for all of our investable opportunities, the premium pricing has a halo effect. And again, that doesn't mean that you have to be the most expensive option out there. That means that you have to be in the top 20 or 30%, right? It's the 80-20 rule. There's going to be people that sell what you sell for $97. There's people that sell what I sell for $97, what appears to be what I sell. It's like, oh yeah, I'll just go buy this Brian Tracy thing for $97. Okay, great. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to download that on your computer. You're going to hit play. You're going to hear Brian somnambulating for about 90 minutes. And you're going to be like, wow, I like Brian Tracy. He's a great guy. I love Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy endorsed my book. I love Brian. Brian's a smart guy. Brian's a successful guy. Nothing against Brian. But when people compare this program to the Brian Tracy $97 six-figure speaker, blah, 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 there's a huge disconnect. And so, what no one has ever said to me is, well, David, the stuff that you're charging $12,000 for, Brian Tracy's selling for $97. That just surprisingly, that hasn't come up. Right? And it won't come up in any of your worlds either, because I charge more because I'm worth more, and I'm worth more because I charge more. Please make a bumper sticker, put a sign up in your office. This mantra will change your life. It will change your business. It will change the way that you charge and get. the fees that you truly deserve for the rest of your professional life. I charge more because I'm worth more, and I'm worth more because I charge more. That is the stone cold truth. So Patricia, you're a seasoned, experienced coach. Have you ever sold a program, ever had someone come to you and, first couple sessions, they're great. Then they're like, oh, Patricia, you know what? I got to wash the dog. Oh, you know what? I didn't do my homework. Oh, I promised you I would be accountable for this, but I didn't get to it. And they just start dropping off the radar. They stop doing the work. They stop engaging. They don't show up for calls. Has that ever happened?
No.
Oh, good. Well, if it has happened, so you're maybe the purple unicorn of the coaching business. I think most coaches have had that happen on some level. I know it's happened to me when I did a lot of one-on-one coaching. The symptomatic condition of that is you didn't charge them enough money.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't charge them enough money. If you had charged double or triple what you had charged, believe me, guys, they would show up on every goddamn call. They would consume they would be on the edge of their seat going, Leonard, please help me with this. What do you have to say? They would take notes like nobody's business. Stefano, what do I do? How do I solve this right? Oh my God, yes, fantastic. Let me get this right. Here's what I wrote down in my notes. Can I get a recording of this? Can I, right? They are on the edge of their seat, super coachable, super receptive. They will do the work. They will get the outcomes. So when I say they will pay more attention, they will do the work, they will engage more, they will get better results, it's literally because they've invested more financially and karmically and emotionally, you will be of higher service to them because they will get the better outcomes because of the effort on their part, the effort on kind of what they're bringing to the equation. You can be the world's greatest coach and have a slacker goofball client, and that slacker goofball client doesn't get any results. Mm-hmm. Well, whose fault is that? So if you have clients and you've got an entire client roster of folks that have worked with you, and it's on a bell curve, right? Some are getting amazing, awesome results. Some are getting good results. And some are just like the laggards, like, well, yeah, I didn't do anything. Right, what's the difference? What's the common denominator? Common denominator is you. So I want you to look at the extreme high end of all your client successes, the extreme high end of every testimonial, every speaking evaluation. Oh my God, Tweed rocked my world, totally blew the doors off this conference. Leonard completely changed the culture of our car dealership. Charles totally blew us out of the water with his leadership, and we're having an entirely different company culture after he left the building. That's you. That is you. And the reason that we undercharge is we don't self-identify with our best clients and our best outcomes. We self-identify with the middle, or we self-identify with the bottom. And that's what's causing you to undervalue and lowball the fee and do all that crazy stuff that you used to be doing that no one is doing starting right now. But that's where that comes from. So, right, you have the client, you C clients, B clients, and A clients. What do they all have in common? You. So the A clients is where you need to focus. The A clients, the A audiences, the A speaking, the A coaching, the A VIP day people, the folks that think Patricia walks on water. What would you charge them? Knowing the much higher caliber of outcomes that that person is likely to create. When I was doing group programs, live led, as opposed to now, which is kind of flipped the classroom mentoring style. So I'm not doing I'm doing situational, right? Training, teaching, mentoring, but in the training portal, you have all the methodology and training and system and tools. This is much more valuable, of course, because we spend all of our time on the coaching and the mentoring aspect, and you guys can Netflix, watch the training and rewatch it and reinforce it and do all that great stuff. But it was always like, at least $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. The $1,000, $1,500 kind of group coaching thing, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, total commodity positioning, right? People will not have a high degree of confidence that you can get the outcomes. And that's where you attract a whole bunch of mules, and all the magicians go, wait a minute, something's wrong. Something's too cheap. This program is either too cheap, or I don't have 10 weeks or 16 weeks. I want this in a much shorter, compressed time frame. I want that value acceleration. I want someone to be my Sherpa and be my guide and shorten the path and accelerate the speed with which I get to that outcome. So I would do a shorter program for more money, significantly more money, like $3,000, $4,000 at least for that first thing. VIP day at $5,000, that's not terrible. That's probably the closest one to kind of where you want to be. And so maybe that is more like a $7,500 kind of thing. But, $5,000, $6,000, $7,500, you're in the ballpark. That one's not terrible. And then that 6 months of one-on-one was $7,500.
David, somebody else is coming in. I'm not hearing you.
Oh, I'm sorry. So
I think
someone just may need to put themselves on mute. There we go. Thank you. Awesome. I wasn't sure who that was, but I appreciate the muting. I said that the 6-month program is one-on-one, and you said it's $7,500?
Yes.
Do you like working with folks for 6 months?
I have up until probably lately. Until meeting you, I don't know.
Let me tell you, because I've done 10 years of one-on-one coaching, and I've had the highs and the lows and everything in between. People love you, all of us. They would love Fred, they would love Leonard, they would love Rad, they would love Karen, they would love all of us for 90 days. 90 days is the magic honeymoon period for a one-on-one coaching or one-on-one consulting relationship. Because here's the deal. When they sign up, right, it's again another version of mule versus magician. They're signing up for the magic. They're signing up for your genius. They're signing up for your gift. The second 3 months, and I've done 3-month program, 6-month program, 12-month program. I love all y'all. I don't want to see any of your faces for a year. Oh my God. Well, first of all, here's my value proposition. My value proposition during our 8 weeks together is I want to make our whole team, Teresa, Allison, Sam, everybody. I want to make all of us progressively unnecessary. So the coaching and consulting value prop that is designed to build dependency is not a trusted advisor model. That is kind of a shyster, ongoing, you're done until I say, you're not done until I say you're done model. And I really don't like that. I really don't think that has a lot of integrity. If they want to renew, if they want to continue, fantastic. Because then you reset the clock and you get another 90-day honeymoon period. The problem with selling 6 months at a time or a year at a time is the first 90 days, they're buying your genius. The second 90 days, they're buying your commodity. And by buying your commodity, I'm talking about your time. So month 4, month 5, and again, maybe some of you guys that have been in the consulting and coaching world, you resonate with this. They're like, hey, Charles is coming in here, and what has he done for us lately? And when's our next, can we extend our time with Charles? Because, he's got these 60-minute calls. I think we really kind of need a 90-minute call. Well, what you really need is like a 15-minute call to solve a problem. But again, they're now tied to your commodity, which is your time, right? So the first 90 days, you can almost do no wrong. If you're any good at consulting and coaching and doing what you do, right? Then they start looking at the clock and they start going, why are we paying her again? And how come we haven't gotten the results already? Because they want, 90 days is a results window. So if you want to sell a year-long personal or professional development program, here's my strong recommendation. Do it in 4 phases or 4 stages of 90 days each. Each phase is going to have its own milestones and outcomes to kind of separate the phases and the stages. And you say, well, here's what's going to happen. We're going to work together for a year. The first 90 days we call phase 1. Very inventive. The first 90 days we call phase 1. At the end of our first 90 days, the end of phase 1, here's what you're going to get. Here's what you're going to have. Here's what's going to be fixed. Here's what's going to be transformed. Here's what's going to be the problems that are going to go away. And here's the new outcomes and the results you can reasonably expect. That's packaged as phase 1. The second 90 days of our work together, and you can have themes of this, right? So you can have a theme of, first we're going to work on leadership. And then the leadership is going to work on, we're going to move into team. And then the team is going to work on, we're going to do the team dynamics. Then we're going to work on risk-taking, innovation, and collaboration. That's phase 3. And then we're going to work on kind of permanent employee engagement, culture change, steering the battleship in this new direction, and really putting things in place in that final 90 days that will really be an entire corporate cultural transformation program. So phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. What this means psychologically when you're selling a year-long program is you're saying, okay, phase 1, milestones and outcomes to separate. Phase 2, milestones and outcomes to separate. Phase 3, milestones, outcomes to separate. Phase 4, you have arrived, right? It's a little GPS voice that says, ding, you have arrived. Now, you can even sell a multi-year program in this mode. So I used to sell when I was crazy, when I was really crazy. I sold a multi-year kind of David on-demand coaching and consulting program. It went by various names, and my platinum program, my super duper program. I said year 1 is all about marketing, sales, and revenue generation. Once we get you up and running as a speaker, as a coach, as a consultant, now you're making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, whatever it is that you want to be making, right? That is totally solid. That's the outcome of year 1. Year 2, you are now the biggest bottleneck in your business because you've gotten yourself in a situation where you're selling dollars for hours. There's no systems, there's no process. You're making yourself crazy. You're not sleeping at night. You're spending too much time in airplanes and hotels. So year 2, our theme is going to be systems and process and building a team. So now we're going to do an entire year of that. And then year 3 is going to be scalability and leverage. So now you have the team. How are you deploying the team? How are you building assets that are separate from your time, attention, and presence? Should you have a licensing program? Should you have a certification or a train-the-trainer component to what you do? Should you have an online course or an online mentoring program like this one, for example, right? Those are all scalability options. So when someone signs up for a year-long, 3-year-long thing, the question is, what do I get if I re-up? What do I get if I renew? If I'm going in for this 1-year program, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, I get it. If I got a 2-year program, 3-year program, well, why would I sign up for 3 years? Like, am I not going to get everything I need from you in year 1? You are going to get everything you need from me in year 1 for this set of outcomes. Then once you graduate, new outcomes, new problems. Year 2, we focus on this set of outcomes. Once you've nailed that, year 3 and this set of outcomes. You can literally, if you want to, if your business model is such that you want to sell a 3-year program, and again, just like with the phases, think of it as instead of 90 days, 90 days, 90 days, think of it as, okay, year 1, year 2, year 3, and it's the same accordion effect that you can put into place. You could sell a 3-year program. I would still recommend phase 1, 4 90-day phases, right? Year 1, 4 90-day phases. Year 2, another 4 90-day development phases. And then year 3, another 4 90 days of focus or thematic development sort of phases. This could be like a multi-$100,000 thing very, very easily. Roxanne Emmerich, who's a colleague of mine and a friend out of the National Speakers Association, she deals with community banks. She says now at this level of her career, I will not work with a community bank unless it's a 3-year commitment. I will not come and do a speech. I will not come and do a training day. I will not coach an executive. It's 3 years or forget about it. So either you sign up for the big transformation or you don't play with Roxanne Emmerich. Mm-hmm. And so, but that's a choice. That's how her business model evolved after doing hundreds and hundreds of keynotes and hundreds and more training. And she built a team and she has consultants that go out under her banner. But now she says, you know what? I'm after community banks and specifically community bank CEOs who want the transformation, who want the magic. They don't want the transaction. They want the transformation. So she took all the low fee, no fee transactional BS work that she no longer wanted to do. And she says, when you're with me, you're signing up for the whole trip. We're going all the way across the finish line. It's a 3-year journey. Here's how it works. Here's what it costs, about $150,000 a year, in case you're curious. So 3-year contract, $450,000. That's what they commit to. They get billed annually, $150, $150, $150. So it's a little bit easier on the budget. But these are community bank CEOs that have, multiple hundreds of millions of dollars. 150 grants, that's in the sofa cushions. If you can help the bank grow 3%, 5%, 10%, that's like a 10x ROI on the $150,000. But again, Roxanne had to believe it before she could sell it. So it's like, oh my God, no one would ever pay me $450,000. Nah, don't be so sure. Don't be so sure.
Mm.
So Patricia, how about that for a masterclass in kick-ass pricing?
I love it. A couple of things that I noticed is being in the transformational world or field, or, you know, in that coaching model, the idea is give everything but the kitchen sink. Overgive, 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 and then that makes you more valuable. And what I'm hearing you say, you have totally flipped my mind. And I love this so much because you're right on. I speak about the magic wand principle. So this is right in alignment with the magician. And this is just simply awesome. One question on that, on the group coaching, one of the reasons why I feel that I have it at a lower level is because I don't have the videos that you have. You know, like you have all the videos, you have all the suite of content delivered in a way that looks very, very, very valuable. So I am not valuing my time, my presence, right? And so I'm seeing that if I have videos or I have modules or if I have something like that, that I do it once and really free myself up and then also add a huge value.
For sure. And so let me tell you, just as far as this model is concerned, you're right, this didn't look this way on day one. Mm-hmm. So if you want to kind of bootstrap this and get this up and running quickly, mm-hmm. I would take your next live-led group. I would simply record it, just like we're recording this on Zoom or Skype or whatever you want to use. Record that, put that in a portal, right? And it can be ugly. It can be grainy. I mean, my first videos were like, you know, but the content was there and the support tools were there. It wasn't necessarily beautiful or, you know, oh my God, this is like a gorgeous looking, amazing course. But the value was there. And then we did kind of a flip the classroom. We say, okay, watch the modules or listen to the modules. And then, you know, come on to, and at some point, by the way, it was a teleseminar, teleconference. We didn't even use video. It was like old school, man. It was like, you know, I'm old. So this is like all this old ancient crap. So bad recordings, sometimes audio only, and then group teleseminar, kind of group, freeconferencecall.com, free conference line, basically. You get paid for a conference line, but it doesn't matter. They're all free now. It's hard to find a conference line that you need to pay for. So we record the calls. They have the recordings in the portal, a little bit ugly, a little bit funky looking. Once I dialed it in, and I'm a slow kid on the bus. So I did this was used to be called the modules of the Speaker Marketing Workshop. Even before that, when it was live-led, it was called the Speaker Marketing Toolkit. I did that Speaker Marketing Toolkit 13 times live-led with a start date, with a group of humans, taking them through the whole process. Start date, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, end date. And then finally, after doing it 13 times live-led, I'm like, hey, maybe I should record this. So then I started doing the ugly recording. And then once I really refined it, right, then I said, okay, let's pretty this up. Let's make the videos. Let's put in the support materials. Let's put in some of the bonus content. Let's add the Facebook group. Let's do all of it. Let's bring in the specialty coaches. Let's bring in Teresa. Let's bring in Allison to help folks with these areas that they're stuck. And so it just evolved. But the first one, which I had no problem charging several $1,000s for to many, many people, was ugly. It was ugly. So feel free to start ugly because, again, you know who cares about the cosmetics is the mules. The people that want the stuff and they want it quick and they want the transformation as soon as they possibly can get it, they will listen to audios. They will look at just like Word documents. They will look at transcripts that have typos. I did like raw transcripts. I made it sound sexy. Like, oh, this is a raw, unedited transcript, meaning I didn't feel like cleaning up the typos, right? Hopefully now there's no typos in any of the transcripts because we did a cleanup pass, years ago. But it's okay to have that first kind of shitty first draft, if you will, just like when you're writing a book. Mm-hmm. Do the shitty first course, and people are buying the outcome. They're not buying the course. They're not buying time with you. So do not get held up on the cosmetics and on the presentation of it.
Great. And so even on that, it's still worth thousands of dollars because the value is there, not the cosmetics.
Big time.
I see.
So here's what I did as an intermediate lazy step. Check this out. So I'd done these live lead groups, and I figured, okay, I have these recordings. They're ugly. I have the audios. They're not perfect. I have the transcripts with the typos. The first time I did this flip of the classroom, there was no course, there was no videos, there was no Kajabi portal, there was nothing. I said, tell you what, guys, I'm going to unlock this bunch of crap in Dropbox. It was literally a Dropbox folder and a weekly call. And I thought I had robbed a bank. I literally thought I had robbed the bank. Like, this is no work. I just show up and I'm on the phone. I'm on the teleseminar line going, yeah. Well, here's what you do with that. And here's how you solve that problem. And here's how you fix that. And it was like, having coffee for 90 minutes with friends. Hang up the phone. It's like, wow, they paid for that? What the hell? This is more serious work in here. But at first it felt like robbing a bank. Why? Because I was working in my zone of genius, like you guys are working in your zone of genius. You know all the answers. You've answered all the questions hundreds of times with your clients and your audiences and your zone of genius. And it just flows, right? And the time flies by and it's fun. And you're like, on some level, this little imposter syndrome starts to come in going, I can't believe they're paying money for this. This is crazy. But then you see their outcomes, and you know what? Again, they're not paying for your program, and they're not paying for your videos, and they're not paying for the audios, and they're not paying for the handouts, and they're not paying by volume. They're paying for the outcomes. And as long as your folks get the outcomes, that's where the magic happens. That's what they really signed up for, and you should feel great about it, no matter how funky and ugly your training portal might be. Now we had the money and the time to redo the training portal, and it looks pretty, but the outcomes are the same. The outcomes are it's not like, oh, people are getting much better outcomes now with the pretty videos. No, they're not. They're getting great outcomes because they're coming onto the call. They're getting the advice they need. They're kicking ass. They're taking names. They're charging what they need to charge. They're bringing checks home, and it's awesome. So you can do that live lead. You can do that on your VIP day. You can do it in an ugly portal. You can do it in a pretty portal. They're buying the outcomes. And the more that we anchor ourselves in that for all of what we sell, they're buying the outcome. And they really and truly are.
And David, one last thing I think this will be beneficial is you asked me if any of my clients are not showing up and if they're not, really staying with it. And I answered no. And then right after that, you said, like the ones that are on the edge of their seat and the ones that are taking note and the ones that are just like putting everything. So where my clients are showing up, they're the ones that are the A clients are the ones that you mentioned there, the ones that are on the edge of their seat, the ones that call early, the ones that do everything I say. So where the other ones are showing up, they're not to the caliber that you described as that A client. And you're exactly spot on that I am self-identifying with B and C, not the A, and A is where it's at. On the 4 phases of the year is awesome. And I'm seeing, now that we just had this conversation, instead of 6 months for 75, it's like 90 days for 75.
There you go. That's where I was going to go with that. That's exactly where I was going to go with that. It's a 90-day program, one-on-one, $7,500. And back when I did one-on-one, I sold a crap ton of one-on-one at that exact price point.
And that's every week, David?
Yeah, it was a weekly call, then email access in between. Now, again, just to give you some context on this, that was years and years ago. The most recent clients that I invited to a one-on-one, 90 days, $15,000. And they had no problem paying that either. So it's almost like the higher the fee, the better quality prospects you attract. And this is another thing for everybody when it comes to pricing. This really breaks my heart because people are so screwed up and so upside down about this. People say, well, I can't find people to pay me $4,500, right? Let's say it's just for speaking or for anything, coaching, training, etc. My advice to that person is to raise your fee immediately. I can't find people at $4,500. I guess I'll slide back to $3,500. And then it gets harder. And I guess I can't find these people either. I guess I'll do $2,500. And you guys think, or some people think, not you guys, because you're all smart, those people think that they're like a bunch of bananas, and it's like supply and demand. It is not supply and demand. In the expert marketplace, it is 180 degrees opposite of supply and demand. That when you elevate your fee, you also elevate the caliber of prospects that you connect with. When you elevate your fee, people that would ordinarily be afraid of hiring you are now attracted to hiring you. And then the flip side is also true, right? Because there's 3 layers of prospects. There's the freeple, the ones that want all the free crap from you and will never buy anything, freeple. There's the cheaple, the ones who have like, you know, I'll give you $1,000, I'll give you $2,000 to come and speak, cheaple. And then there's finding your people. So you want to have a pricing structure that not only attracts your people, but listen very carefully, not only attracts your people, but actively repels the freeple and the cheaple that you never want to do business with again. As soon as you elevate your sites and you say, I'm no longer a $3,500 speaker, I'm a $5,500 speaker. The $5,500 clients, the ones that are looking for the serious speakers, the ones that are looking for the serious professionals to come in and help them, they will automatically be attracted to you. The cheaple will fall away. And you can do the same thing at every price point. You can $7,500, $8,500. We got folks in here that are charging $12,000, $15,000. That's great. Whatever level you're at, it's always an elevation and an escalation strategy. You always want to leave that lower level of freeple and cheaple behind. Find the people at your fee that are happy to invest, willing to invest, and check this out, expecting to invest at that level, because that's who they are. That's who they are. When you show up too cheap, they go, I couldn't possibly buy this guy. He's too cheap. That can't be any good. And it's got the negative halo effect. So anytime someone struggles with price, I can't find anyone to pay $4,500. I said, great. So now you're at $6,500. Go. And they find them. And it's like the freakiest thing. Well, that shouldn't work. That doesn't make any logical sense. I took economics in high school. That doesn't work. Yes, it does. It absolutely does. And if I hadn't seen it dozens and dozens and dozens of times, I probably wouldn't believe it either. But it absolutely is the stone cold truth.
Wow. You have just rocked my world in a great way and turned me upside down and all around. And now I feel even better than I did coming into the call. You are amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that comes to the fear of repelling, right? That fear of repelling all the freeple and the cheaple, because then you don't have the following, or what appears to be the following, or what appears to be potential, or what appears to be prospects, when they were never the prospects to begin with.
Totally right. Totally right.
Wow. Thank you. This is amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You don't want the throngs of people that are looking to pay you like $97 a month for some cheap ass continuity program. You want the $7,500 90-day rock stars that you're going to totally change their world.
Got it. And I am. And I do.
I know.
So great. Thank you.
I know.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Very good. And then Shawn might be, oh no, here you are. I was going to say Shawn's in transit, but you're right here. So we're doing, I guess, a changing of the guard. Morgan, is that right? So folks that were with Allison and want to go into Teresa, they come back here. We ship them out again. Folks that were Teresa, go visit Allison. And then all the rest of y'all are stuck with me. But while that's happening, I will answer Shawn's question. That was a copy question, right? About your pain gain factors. And did you get that? You get that all squared away?
No, we didn't. I don't know that Allison had access to that information when I posted that. So.
Okay, but you just came out of her room just now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll respond to that offline, and we'll give you some ideas, and we'll put it up that way. It's easier than trying to work on copy and on a call like this. Okay.
Hey, David.
Yes.
David, this is Nicole.
Hey, Nicole.
Hi. Listen, I'm in the car and I don't know how to get into the chat room with Teresa.
So Morgan, how do we handle that? How do we get a phone-only person into a breakout room? Is that doable, or have we not cracked the code on that?
And if it's not doable, I'm cool with you.
I know. I'm like a poor second choice. I'm like, yeah, it's an old pair of shoes. She is doing it now. So Nicole, you are being whisked away as we speak. There she goes. Ooh, that was close, man. She almost had to be stuck with her second choice, which is this guy. So okay, good. So we've got Neil. I reviewed the 20 questions asked before hiring. Question 7, online resources. Can I get some examples of what those reasons be? So Neil, talk to me about that. Is Neil here? Did Neil get whisked away?
Can I get whisked away?
Where would you like to go? Hang on, we can't. Either type it to Morgan or say it to me.
Okay, I'll type it.
Okay.
Thanks.
And then Morgan will get you over there. So Neil must have whisked off. Reviewed the 20 questions to ask before hiring, which is a template. Question 7, online. Oh, online. Okay. So I will. Yeah. This is my the sample at 20 questions to ask before hiring a blank speaker. And his question 7 is online resources. So you can set up, and this is key. I mean, this will sometimes close deals for you. So when I did, let's say, a NAFA meeting, right, National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, I would have my web person do a quick little resource page hidden on my website. So when I'm speaking to them, I say, hey guys, by the way, write this down. It's doitmarketing.com/NAFA, right? So write that down. There's some resources there waiting for you after the presentation to help you when you get back to the office. And I've included, and the things I typically include in there, the PowerPoint from the presentation, some additional resources, maybe an article, maybe a cheat sheet, maybe a template of some kind, whatever I talked about, right? So it's just like basically think of it as an electronic handout. But if you have that set up as also a lead capture mechanism, right? So maybe you're using lead pages or something else in front of that. So when they go to doitmarketing.com/NAFA, that redirects to a lead page that says, hey, thanks for joining David at the NAFA convention on March 28th. You know, enter your name and email to grab the resources from his talk. So now I have a lead capture mechanism from every audience member. And they get the resources, that's a value add, and I get the emails, which is the value add for me. So even though it is pitched as a bonus, it's really a bonus for me because putting that stuff up there is like doesn't cost me anything, and I want to make sure that I get 80 or 90% of those email addresses from every audience so that we can follow up and we can say, hey, you know, and by the way, of course, the handout materials, here's another huge thing that not many people do. At the end of the workbook, the last slide on the PowerPoint, the last slide in the handout is something like other ways that Leonard might be of service to you. One-on-one coaching, online course, book a call, whatever it is, right? Give them some sort of call to action as the last slide of the PowerPoint, the last page of the workbook, and say, here's some additional ways we might work together, right? Bring Leonard into your next conference, do some one-on-one executive coaching, do, you know, a sales team rally, do this, do that, whatever. Put the options in front of them. A lot of times, oh, well, I gave them all these great resources and then nobody called me. It's like, well, do they know what you even do? Because our audiences have very limited imaginations. Right? They have very limited imaginations. If they see you doing a keynote speech, they go, oh, this guy does a keynote speech. They're not thinking he also does consulting. He also has an online course. He also has a 90-day mentoring program. He also has this. He also has that. So let them know what else you do, what else is on offer. Have a call to action as the last slide or the last page of the workbook or the PS on the worksheet or the cheat sheet and drive them to another investable opportunity. I mean, they've already seen you, they've already opted in, and they already trust you with their email address. They probably, some of those people want more of you. And so don't be shy, don't be mysterious about how that can happen, right? Be very clear and very overt. Let me give you an example. My buddy Scott Oldford is masterful at doing this. I'll show you a direct example. I just printed this out because I was working on it earlier. He's got great content. He did not number his pages, so that's kind of pissing me off, but that's okay. So, all right, here you go. You guys see that? I can help in 3 ways. So this is the last page of this little PDF report, PDF guide that he gives to his audiences. I can help in 3 ways. Number 1, personal one-on-one. Who it's for, what we talk about. Number 2, he's got a mastermind program, kind of like what Patricia's thinking about doing. And then number 3, he's got a group mentoring kind of thing called the Relevancy Engine. So there it is right there, loud and proud. Last page of the handout PDF, 3 ways I can help. Oh, that's so pushy. Oh, that's so salesy. Oh, I couldn't possibly. Sure you could. It's, hey, I'm giving you, this is in the context of a give, right? It's not an ask, it's not a take, it's a give. And by the way, if I can help you further, here's 3 great ways we can work together, right? And then the call to action is click here to book a call. Click here to book a call. Click here to have a conversation about Scott, about how he can help you or help your group. Duh, this is free lead generation. This is like free marketing. You're already in front of them. They already came to your website. They already opted in. They already gave you the email. That you already have the know, like, trust factor. But you're not putting this as the last slide in your PowerPoint. You're not putting this as the last slide in your handout. I mean, this is like free money. This is free money right here. So do that as a resource. I love when I give a fantastic answer to a question that nobody asked. That's my favorite thing. It's like, where the hell did that come from? I don't know, but it's good stuff, and use it. Monetize it. Allison's already on board. She's already doing this for the program that you guys are going to sell on Monday for $94,000. They're already on. Yeah, she's on. Yeah, totally. It's like we're just, look, do a screenshot of this puppy, and every one of those people gets this kind of thing. And then there you go. There you go. All right. Morgan's asking, has anyone been moved yet if you want to switch rooms, or anyone not seeing the invite to switch rooms? If you're all with me, that's great. If you want to kind of be in transit and go somewhere else, please work with Morgan and she can get you there if you have not seen the little pop-up box. Sometimes I will tell you the pop-up invite is behind the main Zoom window. It's like hiding back there. So you have to like minimize your windows, then you'll find it and then click, and then you're magically whisked away. All right. So Shawn is, Shawn, Robin, good. Leonard, your question is about the sales funnel from contact to close using email and discovery calls. Okay, so give me kind of what you're thinking about doing, and we'll do the same kind of thought process about, you know, option 1, option 2, option 3, or what you've tried or what has worked in the past, and we can find it from there.
So in this campaign that I'm doing right now, I'm trying to get them to move off of LinkedIn into a funnel that I put together where they say they want additional content. Here's the click button. They click on it. Then I send them an email saying, hey, great, so glad you clicked, blah, blah, blah. Here's an opportunity to have a free 20-minute or a 30-minute coaching call. Is that something you're interested in? That type of thing. So I'm just I've fleshed this out, and I believe it will work, and I'm not having any issues with it, but I'd like to hear a little bit more how you develop yours, because I was totally impressed with how yours flows. It just seems to fall in place.
So it's what you have to do is you have to hole yourself up for a weekend. And during this hole yourself up period, you are going to write a couple of emails. You are going to find a couple of really good relevant resources connected to what you do. Some of these resources can be your own. Some of these resources can be, hey, you know, here's something from the NADA magazine. Here's something from, you know, Car Dealership Today. Here's something from another consultant, whatever it is, right? Just collect some good stuff. And then what I would do, and this is in module 6 when we talk about sales process, I would just start a follow-up content campaign so that every touch point is value. Every touch point, there's some reason to get back in touch. hey, just came across this research about, service being the hidden profit center at every car dealership. Dear Jim, feel free to share this with your team. Feel free to share this with your service staff, whatever it might be. The next thing might be a video. So 2 or 3 days later, hey, Jim, I was just thinking about you. Here's a video. Here's some piece of content. Here's another thing. And then as you're moving through the process, right, you had an initial call, right, that starts with the can opener, value proposition, verbal business card, right? I work with blank who want outcome and result. Do you think a program like this might be valuable for your team, for your members, for your dealership? Well, yeah, let's talk more about that. And we've got a meeting coming up. So all you're doing is in between the sales conversations, you're keeping them warm with value. Now, once you systematize this, you don't need like 900 pieces of content. The mistake that people make is they reinvent the wheel. I would start up a Google spreadsheet. And you saw this there's an Excel spreadsheet in Module 6 that has an example, right? It's value item 1, value item 2, value item 3, whatever. That's a video, a PDF, a cheat sheet, a link of some kind, an article, something that's going to move the sales conversation forward. And then you can keep track in your CRM, like with Pipedrive. You can keep track on an Excel spreadsheet, old school, if you want to. Simply who got what when, right? So I'm, Jim Davis at the California Car Dealers Association, great. I made contact with Jim on March 28th. I sent him the LinkedIn message. Then I took that conversation. March 30th, I sent him an email. April 2nd, I'm going to send him video number 1. April 5th, I'm going to send him the article. I'm going to ask him, hey, Jim, by the way, would love to talk about speaking at one of your next meetings. Well, what would you like to see from me to be considered? I've got some, marketing materials I can send you. I also don't want to send anything that's not welcome. Please let me know, what would you like to see from me to be considered? So you're having almost 2 conversations interwoven together, right? You are moving the sales conversation forward. They're not just getting random crap from you. It's like, why is this guy emailing me? Well, he's emailing me because he wants to help my dealership. Right. He wants to help my conference. He wants to help my team. He wants to help my company. But every touch point has some relevance and some value to a problem that they are likely to be suffering from. And then at some point, you simply convert that to, a phone call or an exploratory chat or, anything. And you can, the source, the beginning of this could be a LinkedIn outreach. It could be a blog post or a forum or a comment or a portal or a community, like what Robin was saying with her Facebook mom. She now has 40 warm people that would love to have some kind of follow-up from her, whether they're a decision maker or not, whether they're a stay-at-home mom or a corporate mom, executive, whatever it is, but 40 warm people because, hey, I'm doing a survey. What's your biggest issue? What's your biggest challenge? Boom. 40 people raised their hand and said, I got something to say about this. I have a comment. I have a question. This is something important to me. Couldn't she engage those people? Like, you click through and say, guess what? She works at ExxonMobil. This other one works at IBM. This other one works over here. Well, gosh, hey, I really enjoyed our Facebook conversation. Do you think a program like this might be appropriate for IBM? And who inside IBM might be just a contact point in your department, in your region that I might have a quick exploratory chat with? Right. Even after one exchange, you are their new best friend. Right. You're not asking them to sell. You're not asking them to push. You're not putting them in a headlock and going, buy my crap. You're saying, hey, do you think this might be valuable for your company? And who might I talk to? Who might you be wonderful enough to connect me with? Right? People love giving help. That's the entire concept behind the Asking for Air campaign. That's the entire concept when you say, hey, who's responsible for choosing speakers for your 2020 meeting coming up in Las Vegas that's coming up in January of 2020 or whatever it is you're asking for help, you're asking for help, you're asking for help. You're not pushing, you're not selling, you're not showing up, as a pitch person. You're showing up either asking for help or as a trusted advisor with some relevant value and follow-up from some initial contact that had some source of relevance or connection to them that they made a comment, they asked a question, they responded to a survey, they're already on your email list, who knows? I mean, one thing that I wish I had time for is going through my main email database, whether you guys have that on Constant Contact or MailChimp or whatever, and simply cherry picking names and saying, oh my God, I remember Bill Jones. Bill Jones hired me 3 years ago, and I got to get back in touch with Bill. Totally forgot about Bill. And oh, I remember Susan. Susan hired me for some coaching thing back in 2007. Man, long time no talk with her. I haven't seen her in a couple of years. Reconnect with her. I mean, this is like low-hanging fruit. This is organic outreach of people who already know you. Maybe they already bought from you. They're already hearing from you on your email list, and you simply haven't opened up your email automation software and done kind of a line by line, hey, who the hell's getting my emails? And what if I picked up the phone and called them and said, hey, you know what? I just found your name on my email list. I noticed that you've been, you opened my March email. I thought about you and, what's cooking? What's cooking? What's new? What's next? What are you working on? How can I help? Right? And every one of those reconnect conversations is going to be money in the bank at some point.
Right.
Maybe it's a referral. Maybe it's, oh my gosh, Leonard, I'm so glad you called. We have an immediate need. Maybe it's something else, but it's going to be a fantastic use of your time. And then you have your follow-ups ready to go. Right? So you're not reinventing the wheel, because like follow-up 1, follow-up 2, send them the links, send them the articles, send them the cheat sheets, send them the video, right? Keep them warm and keep them loving on you, and then business will develop, because you're also guiding the conversation towards how can I help? What are you working on? What's new? What's next? Hey, do you think this might be valuable for the team or for your company or for your next meeting?
Okay, cool. Thanks so much, David.
Cool beans. What else? Who else has a question? Rad.
Hey, I'm a little bit of a slow learner, and thanks for the nod. So coming into the program, I really wanted to focus on speaking, and I like what Rad works with people. I did just as a speaker. Which is, as I've been immersed in the program, I'm really starting to see is not the way the program's designed, and really not the trend in speaking right now. You teach to be the expert who speaks, and then that gives me more revenue streams too. So I'm confident in putting myself out there as a speaker, because I've done a fair bit of it and I've had good results. I feel more of an imposter saying that I'm, the expert consultant in leadership, because I haven't really been brought in to consult. I do it from the stage. I guess I give tips, but so I'm feeling the need to develop content. And I've actually, you addressed some of what I want to focus on here in the last couple of things you said, but developing content takes a while. So if I want to whiteboard videos or do my 10 by 10, that takes a week, a month per paper, however productive you are. What can I do to give myself that position of authority, so I don't feel like an imposter, and reach out and say, yeah, Rad really does help organizations develop leadership techniques, when it's more like Rad does it from the stage, but
Sure.
to show my expertise.
Sure. So I guess 2 separate things that we should probably separate as answers to your question or solutions to this dilemma. Number 1, and this is for everybody, you really need to internalize the fact that you can have this business any way you want it. One of the biggest sins that I see all the time, and it happens naturally, of course, in this group, is, oh, so-and-so got a big consulting gig, and oh, so-and-so's doing a 90-day program now for $7,500, and oh, these guys have a $94,000 contract that's on the table, and I want some of that. So do not get sucked into the comparison syndrome, right? Even going all the way back to Module 1, business model, service model, revenue model, and understanding and really internalizing this mantra that one of my mentors shared with me years ago is that you can have this business any way you want it. You can design, you're in charge of all of those decisions, right? Business model, service model, revenue model, teacher, performer, catalyst, all of these choices, all these decisions that we're making in here, the positioning, the packaging, the messaging, all of it, the delivery modes, people who, okay, so where you want to own your mountaintop is speaking. The worst thing that you could do is say, well, I also want to do consulting because I should do consulting. and I don't like consulting, and I'm not really even good at consulting, and I feel I need to write a whole bunch of content, or I need to write a second book or a third book or get a fifth PhD, or it takes all kinds of forms, right? So being completely comfortable in your decisions and internalizing this mantra that you can truly, and you have to really, this is a big mindset shift, that there is no one way to have a successful business like the kinds that we're building in here. So I can have it exactly the way I want it. Not sort of, not plus this, not well without that, right? Some people would never in a million years want to have any employees ever. Like no employees. Oh, but so-and-so has employees. So-and-so has a team. You know, this one has 3 consultants that's going out under his banner. I guess I have to hire 3 consultants. Nope. Right? Other people would never dream of being in business by themselves. So I just talked to a guy who is he's a former real estate firm CEO. When he took over his real estate firm in San Diego, they had 400 agents. He grew it to 5,000 agents. The company was then bought by Berkshire Hathaway. He then worked under Warren Buffett for 7 years in the San Diego luxury real estate market. Then he went and started his own separate private real estate firm, and now he's a speaker. His name is Steve Rogers, really great guy. Steve is now working solo, right? In his mind, I used to have 5,000 people that report to me. I got to go find 5,000 people. No, right? I used to have a team of like 37. When I had my own office, I had 37 people in the office. I got to go get 37 people. And it's not because he was saying, I have to have what I had before. His business evolved, and he said, you know what? When I was leading 5,000 real estate agents, I had a great time. I don't want that anymore. When I had a team of 37 under me, had a great time in a different way, different responsibilities, different problems, different concerns. Don't want that anymore, right? And he's looking around at these other speakers and trainers, and so has a big online thing, and so has a big consulting arm. He goes, no, I want to speak. I want to be on stages. I want to talk. I'm the king of the one-hit wonder. I want you to fly in, love them and leave them, one-night stands in the speaking world, not in the romance world, right? I'm the one-night stand guy. And so you need to know, he says, I am awesome. When I fly in, I do my thing, and I go home. I don't want to coach. I don't want to consult. I don't want to train. I don't want to see these people for a day or a week or a month. This is where I'm great. This is what brings me joy. This is the business exactly the way I want it. And so no comparison trap, no, oh, should I have multiple revenue streams? You can have one revenue stream, which is 3 $7,500 keynotes a month, $22,500, $250,000 a year business, and then take it up from there. Then start selling some books, then do an online program, and then do this and then do that if you want it. If you don't want it, there's 500 ways to be successful in this business. The way that won't work is the one that doesn't bring you joy. The way that won't work is when it's full of shoulds and have-tos and crap that you wake up in the morning, you just want to put your head back under the pillow and go, oh my God, another day of this crap. As opposed to jumping out of bed and saying, I can't wait to talk to my 15 people on LinkedIn. I can't wait to go to those blogs and portals and communities and see who I can reach out to and see who I can help. I can't wait to do my 35 or 45 minutes of web research on conferences and conventions in my industry where I can reach out. I know I can help these folks. I know I can do a home run program on the main stage for 45 minutes, totally blow their heads off, sell 500 books, and then sleep back at home in my bed back the next day. So literally internalizing this concept that you can have this business exactly the way you want it, game changer, total game changer. So don't fall into the shoulda, woulda, coulda, what this guy's doing, what she's doing, what he's doing, what they're doing. You can have this business exactly the way you want it.
That makes sense. That's helpful. Then I guess, but the one problem of still positioning yourself, I guess then I position myself as being an expert from the stage.
Yeah, that works.
And so In the past, you've suggested breaking up any video you have of talks into little segments. Those would be something you can, because you need some sort of content to share on LinkedIn or to reach out to these people like we've been taught in the program. You need to say, although you did just mention not reinventing the wheel and sharing other people's content, which is an interesting thought. I came across this article and, you know, if you do that, do you say, and this is similar to the stuff I teach, or is that cheesy?
That's doing too much work.
Okay.
Right? All you're doing is you're showing up on their radar as a source of value.
Okay.
And the more neutral. So here's what people make a mistake with this kind of follow-up campaign.
Yeah.
Here's my blog. Here's my video. Here's my PDF. Here's my. Like, oh my God, another one of these guys. Because that's pretty transparent, right? That's unfortunately pretty transparent marketing. Like, this guy's trying to sell me something. As opposed to, hey, just found this on Harvard Business Review about managing different personality types at work. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Why the hell are you sending me this as opposed to Harvard Business Review, how to manage a sales team? Well, because your expertise is managing different personality types at work. It's not about building a sales team. So it needs to be relevant to what you do, but you don't need to be obvious about it.
Yeah.
You know,
so
here's
helpful.
a great video from Tom Peters. Here's a great thing from Harvard Business Review. Here's something that Dan Pink just put out. Here's something from Fast Company magazine. And obviously it all relates to you. And the most important thing about this campaign is you are the source. Right?
Okay.
So the trusted advisor marketing is being helpful before you're hired. If you were to put that in one sentence, what can you do with your corporate clients and prospects and your association clients and prospects to act as if you're hired before you're hired, right? Add value before money changes hands. And that's going to accelerate the speed and the trajectory of that money changing hands. So act as if you're hired before you're hired.
Awesome. Thank you. That's very helpful. Thanks, David.
Yeah. So Allison's asking, do I recommend Upwork to find a company that will build a lead magnet email campaign? Sure. I mean, you can do that lots of ways, right? You can use Upwork. You can, what I like to do actually, I like to, if you already have some content, and we all have some content hiding in a presentation or in your email outbox when you've given advice to a client, or in, you know, if you transcribe one of your speeches or one of your keynotes, we have a ton of content. Content, I don't think, is anybody's problem. It is how do we kind of slice and dice that and deploy that in the service of a marketing campaign or a value-adding campaign. And you can certainly do that with a series of emails. You can certainly do that with you know, posting links and sharing links and collecting in that spreadsheet. Here's a great video. Here's the Fast Company article. Here's the checklist from Harvard Business Review. Here's this piece. And you can throw one or two things of yours in there. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be all third-party stuff. But rather than say, okay, let me hire someone on Upwork to invent things out of a blank screen, you probably have a lot of stuff that is underactivated or underpotentialized that could be deployed in the service of one of these value-first follow-up campaigns. And it's just a question of getting it into the format where it could be sent by email, or it could be sent on LinkedIn, or it could be, you know, even, God forbid, big gasp here, hard copy in the mail. Imagine sending a handwritten note with something in the mail that's directly relevant to something that you talked about or emailed about or that you saw them ask about on LinkedIn. It's almost like we're kind of going retro, right? That competition in the email inbox is huge, and competition at your mailbox, besides the bills and the flyers, no one, like, when's the last time you got like a handwritten note? Maybe one a week.
Yeah, we actually just wrote a handwritten note, thank you note to a couple that we met with that are married and, you know, in business together. So we were just picking their brain of, you know, how they do it successfully. And I said to Doug, why don't we write them a handwritten note on our personal stationery? And he's like, well, that's a great idea. That's, you know, we probably get 2 to 3 pieces of mail a day. So I guess I was also thinking, because neither Doug nor I are familiar with how to actually build the sequence. So I'm assuming that Upworks has people that can actually go in and actually build the...
Well, so let me be clear. I would not automate this.
Okay.
As soon as you automate it, you put it in Infusionsoft or MailChimp or whatever. When it says, you know, click here to unsubscribe, now people feel mass marketed to.
Okay.
This all of our outreach is meant to be high touch, high relevance, high relationship.
Okay.
Not spamming, not one-to-many, not batch and blast. Because again, think about just the numbers that you need to put on the scoreboard. Do you need 100 clients a month? No. You need 3. You need 5. So let's say you do 10 outreaches a week. That leads to 3 or 4 conversations. That might lead to 1 sale, assuming you have a 25, 30% closing ratio, right? 10 conversations. Well, how many emails do you have to send? Maybe 20.
Right.
So, okay, that's 4 or 5 emails a day, or LinkedIn, or whatever it is, right? Cold outreach. And again, even the cold outreach, I would supplement that with intelligent outreach. So use the trigger events, use the blogs, use the portals, use the communities, use the asking for air conversations, use the interview strategy that we talk about in module 4, then again in module 7. These are the epitome of the low volume, high relevance, high relationship type of outreach that executives and buyers and decision makers will respond to. As soon as you say, well, let's automate this and let's do a whole kind of email sequence and blast it out, you've lost all the personal touch. And now people feel that you're just a spammer. It's like the opposite end of the trusted advisor marketing spectrum is, oh my God, this person just sent this out to who knows how many thousands of people, and I now feel very unspecial.
Makes sense. Okay.
So you can do a stream of email marketing, but that's more about your updates, your newsletter, your general kind of audience building, right? That's not for an individual decision maker. That's not for an individual executive or a buyer who you really want to build a personal relationship with. Just like you wouldn't write 500 handwritten notes, I don't think. I mean, it'd be nice to have that, but that'd be kind of silly, right? You're going to write 1 handwritten note a day for a specific person, after a specific conversation, for a specific reason, to move a specific relationship forward.
Okay. So it's being very, very intentional.
Very intentional. And it also doesn't make it, because as soon as you go into like that, you tip over into like that mass marketing kind of thing, all of a sudden your hair's on fire and you've got 79 marketing jobs that you don't really want, and you have to exhaust yourself with the blogging and the tweeting and the Facebooking and the emailing and the videos and the Pinterest and the Instagram and the Snapchat and the and it's like, where does mass marketing end? The problem is mass marketing never ends, and you can exhaust yourself with mass marketing nonsense and never develop the buyer relationships one at a time that you really want to develop.
Okay, great. Did you see the part 2 of my question by any chance?
Probably not.
Okay. So I was curious about the good, better, best proposal that we had shared with you. So part of the feedback was that there was a large jump between the better investment price and the best investment price.
Yeah, so you were at like 30 something and then 90 something.
Mm-hmm. So do you recommend that we potentially, I mean, it sounds like we either decrease the best or increase the better investment price?
So did you get from them any sort of bracket or range for what they're prepared to invest in this at all?
No, we didn't.
Okay. So generally speaking, here's my magic proposal formula.
Okay, great.
And this is more helpful if you have a number in mind, but you can just use the middle number out of your range and do the same kind of thing. So let's say someone said, and this is for more of a consulting or a coaching or some kind of transformational program, not just for a one-time speech. Let's say that you know that they're in the ballpark of $20,000.
Mm-hmm.
Option 1, I would put right below their budget number, because they just gave you a maximum budget number. Like no one says, well, we need to spend at least $20,000 on this. They're thinking the most we're going to spend is $20,000. So option number 1 is like 18.5, right? So it's like, think about if you knew the budget number or whatever the baseline number is, the first number, it's like 0.9 of that number. Second option should probably be somewhere like 1.5x that number. So like 18.5 and then about 30,000, right? Between 27 and 30, kind of a 1.5x jump. And then I would say from 30,000, you can just about double it, but not quite.
Okay.
So like 18.5, 30, and if you doubled 30, you'd get 60. Let's call that 55. So whatever, and you can use that same ratio whatever way you want, right? So baseline number, 18.5, 1.5x, the first number, that's option number 2. And then take option number 2 and almost double it, but not quite. So like 1.8 times option 2 becomes option 3.
Okay.
And that's kind of a logical, rational, that makes sense to people. When they say, okay, well, small is 18.5, right? Large is, let's call it 29. And then supersize is 55. Because now they think they're getting a deal. What they're thinking in their head is, well, this must be double. Oh, it's not double. It's a little bit less than double. Well, that's a great deal, right? 18.5, I'm expecting 37. And I don't see 37. I see, maybe 30, maybe 29.5. I see 30,000. Oh, well, the super duper pack, I must be like 90. No, it's not 90. It's only 55. So, the psychology is you want to kind of move them up. And if it's an easy move up, what they will do, oftentimes, I like option 3, but that's a lot of money, man. We just can't spend 55. Can we do like option 2 plus? Can we do option 2 and pull some things out of option 3? And then do kind of a la carte pricing on those things. Sure. Oh, I'm loving option 2, but I'd hate to lose this. I'd hate to lose that. Can we do like an option 1 plus? And then it's the same thing, just the lower price point. It's 18.5, but let's cherry pick a couple things from option 2. So it really, what you want to do with these proposals is you want to break their heart that they can't buy the super duper option number 3.
Okay.
And that kind of bracketing will foster these conversations about, well, if you could do option 3, right? Let's say we do option 2. Which of these items in option 3 really looks important to you? Oh man, we love the follow-up. Oh man, we love the executive coaching. Oh man, we totally have to have, and they'll just sell themselves back into option 3. So when you say, well, what do you want to take away? We don't want to take away anything. We want the big package. We want the super deluxe. Well, okay, then we're back at 55K or whatever it is. So I think you need to look at it and again, those are just relative numbers. You can double each of those numbers and say, okay, option 1 is 38,000. Option 2 is 1.5 that, and option 3 is, I'm not saying don't do 94K. I'm saying that the logical spread, those numbers kind of make sense to people. You plug in the baseline number, whatever you want it to be. So if you know it's going to be 10 on-site seminars and, you need to get 7,500 each, that's at least $75,000. There's no, 10 on-site seminars, I'll do that for 20 grand. No, you won't. No. Right? So as long as the math makes sense logically, that's the spread that I recommend that will get them to have that kind of upselling and a la carte conversation with you.
Great.
And then Jennifer had a question about where's the easiest place to start connecting associations, state or national, or businesses. So associations are always easier for one very simple reason. Associations have meetings. Associations publicize that they're having meetings. Associations are in the business of putting on meetings and helping their members with member education and member professional development. So Microsoft here in Philadelphia, they might be having a meeting today. It's about their small business CRM marketing channel partner conference. I'll never know about that because it's not public information. So you'll always have an easier time penetrating the association market. And then the good news, of course, is who's in your association audience is the corporate buyers. It's the corporate people that come to the association meeting. So a lot of people do the association meetings first because that's kind of an easier entree. And then the corporate business comes out of the association connections and audiences that you put yourself in front of.
To start at the state level too.
Yeah, true at the state level. Sure. Well, so states always
as the national.
Yeah, state. Yeah. So if you want to, the hierarchy is state association is the low-hanging fruit. National association, a little bit tougher. And then, corporations aren't tougher, but remember, associations have meeting problems and corporations have business problems. So you can approach both, but it's a slightly different campaign. So if you're approaching a corporate buyer, cold calling, completely useless. Let me repeat that 17 times just to save Teresa time on her next 97 coaching calls. Corporate, corporate campaign. If I catch any of y'all cold calling any corporate executive, I will come, I will hunt you down, I will find you, I will kill you. Or one of my minions that I find on Upwork will find you and kill you. I'm thinking of starting a new website for like outsourced hit men and hit women. It's called Killer, Killerr. So 2 R's. Instead of Fiverr, it's going to be Killer. And it's going to be like hit men and hit women for hire. So I'll just go find someone on Killer, and we will find you, we will hunt you down. So with corporate executives, interview strategy, referral strategy, asking for air strategy, right? Referral posse, or before, with, and after referral networking. That's a gold mine for many of you guys. Thinking about these kinds of things, even an article marketing strategy, approaching a corporate communications office and saying, do you guys have an in-house newsletter? Do you have an employee magazine? Do you have an in-house blog? Do you have an in-house email? Do you have an in-house portal where you're accepting outside contributions? That's like a stealth ninja move to penetrate these corporations with articles and with content. And then, of course, the call to action is, Jennifer speaks to corporations and associations who want boom, boom, and boom. It's, oh, we should call her for our next event. We should call her for our next meeting. Yeah, that's a good idea. So that the high touch, trusted advisor marketing is what will get you in front of corporate buyers. Associations, because the meetings are public facing and they're always looking for good content. They're always looking to educate their members. They're always looking for new, fresh professional development ideas for their next conference, their next leadership meeting, or their next board meeting, their next whatever. That is more of a direct approach about, hi, this is David Newman. I speak to groups of small and solo business owners to help them with their marketing and grow their business. I'm just calling to see if a program like this might be valuable for your members. And that's a little bit more of a numbers game, but they're also going to be more receptive to you because they're in the business of putting people like us in front of members like theirs. So an association whose main job is to put on events and conferences and add member value and give members a reason to re-engage and renew with their professional and trade association, they want to hear from you. Let me underline that 3 times. They want to hear from you. You are an asset. You're a member value source. So when you reach out to associations, yes, it should be intelligent prospecting. Yes, it should be relevant. Yes, it should be personal. Yes, it should be well-researched. You should not sound like a cold calling monkey fool. Businesses, the other strategies that we talk about in the program are going to be way the hell better than cold calling about, you want a speech, you want a speech, you want a speech, you want a speech. That is a total dead end and a total waste of time in the corporate world. So don't do it that way.
There are certain timing with the associations, because when I was doing my research, I'm seeing where they're asking for speaker proposals, which I know you've got to talk your way around that and make sure you didn't get sent to that hole. But I don't know anything about how meeting planning works or what the mindset is of the meeting planner and what the timing would be. So if they have like call for proposals, say it's June 1st, is there a specific time when you should be outreaching to have that conversation?
So here's the deal. You never know. There's no good time and there's no bad time. When I say you never know the planning cycle. So some planning cycles are super short. Some planning cycles are super long, like 2-3 years. I will tell you that meeting planner after meeting planner that we talked to, and this is so funny because Teresa and I just talked about like the mind of the meeting planner. We're going to bring some pretty cool things and some pretty exciting stuff for you guys in the next couple of weeks here about this specific thing, that you'll be able to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, not have to take my word for it. Some meeting planning cycles are not some, all meeting planning cycles are getting shorter. That is just a trend. It's been a trend for the last 5 years. This whole thing about, oh yeah, we have our meetings dialed in for the next 3 years. We know who our keynote speaker is going to be in the year 2021. Sometimes right now, today, it's March, end of March, beginning of April. They don't know who their speaker is in October. They literally do not know who their speaker is in October. and they're freaking out about it, and they're looking, and they're calling references, and they're calling up bureaus, and they're calling up their buddies, and who have you seen, and who's good, and oh my God, who do we get? Chicken with the head cut off. The urgency, you never know, like when you put yourself out there and you're inviting a meeting planner, conference producer, association executive to a conversation about how you can serve their group, you never know if they, well, hopefully you do know because you've done the research. I was going to say, you never know if they just had their meeting last week and their sense of urgency for the next meeting is totally low, or is it medium, or is it high? Or, sometimes they say, oh, you know what? We're doing a special event. We're doing like because they do this, right? They need money. So associations need non-dues revenue. The fastest, best way for an association to get non-dues revenue in the door is to create an extra event, a specialty event, a sub-event. So like with American Banking Association, which is a huge association, there are subgroups. There's a banking regulatory meeting that happens a couple times a year. There's a bank marketing meeting that happens a couple times a year. There's a bank credit meeting that happens a couple times a year. When they need quick cash, they go, you know what? Let's do another bank marketing meeting. We did one in August. Let's do one in September, right? And so we're doing another meeting just pops up. At that point, it's open season. Do you want to say, well, let me time this exactly right, so I'm calling the exact right person at the exact right time for the exact right thing? You literally never know. So what you need to do is the intelligent prospecting, spend the 5 or 10 minutes on their website, understand not just the next meeting, but what's their whole meeting strategy. What are their previous meetings? What are the sub-meetings? What are the main meetings? What are the specialty meetings? So for example, my friend Shawn Bradley, who works in the automotive industry, just came back from the National Auto Dealers Association, big, huge, hundreds of millions of dollars, big, huge conference. Leonard knows it because that's, he's in the, were you there, by the way? Okay. So, it's just, the booths are like city blocks. It's like serious. It is hugely serious thing. Now, that's their big, hairy annual meeting. Like, that's the mothership, right? Do they have sub-meetings? They have smaller meetings? They have specialty meetings? Of course they do. So it's not just, hey, I got one shot with nada. It's not like, hey, it's okay, they one meeting. There's lots of meetings. Some of them are big profile, some are medium, some are small, some are spur of the moment. So if I'm an association executive and I need to bring in another $500,000, I'll do an event and we'll have a meeting and we'll say, okay, we need about 6 months of lead time. It's March. This thing is happening in September. Go. Not even on the website yet. You happen to call that day. Right? It's like, oh my God, I am so glad you called. In fact, this is a perfect fit. We have a specialty meeting coming up. It's in October. The theme is this. The CEO just said he wants that. Can you do 2 sessions? Can we have you on Monday and on Tuesday? Can you do a keynote and a breakout? Can you do a keynote and a master class? Can we bring you in for a special pre-conference thing as a fundraiser? Like a special 1-day event before the main event? All kinds of ideas are on the table. Like when they need you big time. So when, what's a good marketing time? What's a bad marketing time? I have a sales training friend who says, oh my God, you can't market in March. March, the weather is terrible. April's tax time. May, the kids are out of school. June, people are on vacation. July, of course, it's July 4th. No, he says, there's no good sales days. There's 365 bad sales days. I guess I can't sell anything anytime. He says, you know what? There might only be 2 good sales days a year. My problem is I don't know which 2 days those are, so I have to sell every day. I don't know which 2 days those are, so I got to sell on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. And for someone, it's the perfect sales day. The day that you call is going to be the perfect sales day. The day they get that email, the day they get that LinkedIn message, the day they see that forum post, the day they see that LinkedIn message, it's going to be the perfect day. So I wouldn't say, okay, planning cycles are this, and here's the lead time, and here's this, and here's that. It's find your people, right? Repel the cheaple. We talked about this before if you were in the room with us. Repel the cheaple, repel the people. Repel the freeple and repel the cheaple. Find your people and have these high-value connections with them on a daily basis. So if you really internalize this, a day without a sale is like a day without sunshine. And every day we need to be looking at who's got my next check in their bank account. And how do I connect with them? How do I serve them? How do I help them? How do I help them accelerate the speed and shorten the path to the outcomes that they want whether that's a coaching client, consulting client, training client, association speaking client, corporate training client, all of it, sponsorship client, like what Susan's working on, what a couple of you guys are working on. How can I move the conversation forward? How can I get the next check in the door? So it's open season, guys. It's open season. And once you have your materials dialed in, you've got your targeting, you've got your prospecting, you've got crystal clear clarity on why you're awesome. And I'm worth more because I charge more. I charge more because I'm worth more. You're ready to rock this thing.
Well, the irony is what you're talking about as a shorter cycle, I thought was long.
Oh, good. Well, so again, right there, same thing. I mean,
so I
sometimes
didn't know.
it can literally be within weeks. It can literally be within weeks. I had a client who got an association guy. I may have told this story before. They said, yeah, we want you in Paris in 3 weeks. And she's like, Paris, Texas? No, Paris, France. And, oh, so what happened? Did your speaker get sick? Did your speaker drop out? Like, what happened? The person literally said, it's a big financial meeting for a big global bank. They said, no, we just had this meeting planned for a couple months. And then we kind of woke up one day, we realized, oh, we forgot to get a speaker. So that's both good news, and it's kind of scary in how low speaker selection is on their priority list. But again, they found her, Paris in 3 weeks. Great. Full fee, 15 grand, first class travel, go to Paris, do the gig, come home. So here's what she was going to do, by the way, before she talked to me. She says, well, it's so close. Should I discount it? I said, no, it's so close. It should be a premium. Like, well, it's in Paris. I love Paris. I'll take my husband. Should I discount it because it's in an awesome location? I said, no, she lives in Denver, Colorado. This is international. It's like extra hours on a plane with you stuck in here like this, eating a little flat piece of lasagna because you're in economy. That's what you're doing in economy, is eating the flat lasagna. It's like all the reasons that she was going to discount, I was going to upcharge. Well, it's only in 3 weeks. Man, I'm free that day anyway. Yeah, don't tell them. Don't tell. Oh, well, sure. There's a $5,000. Someone's got some crazy echo. So we're done. I'm done ranting anyway, despite the crazy echo. You guys are awesome. Tomorrow is accountability day. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Teresa, anything else? Closing thoughts? Teresa might have disappeared. Allison, anything? Closing thoughts? Closing ideas?
No. Just continue looking at who your customer is and stop talking about yourself so much.
Final words of wisdom right there. Mic drop. Okay. See you guys later. Tomorrow's accountability day. Get ready. It's going to be big. All right. Bye.
Thank you, David. Bye.